I think a lot of us interact with God in the same way, where we go, God, what happened? God, I thought you loved me. I thought you were for me. I thought that you were going to open up new pathways and new opportunities, and it seems like you've abandoned me in the very moments that I needed you the most. See, but maybe the question isn't, God, why have you abandoned me? But maybe the question to ourselves is, God, how do I need to see you in the midst of it? Because it's so easy to see God in your highs, but are you willing to actually look for God in your lows? Are you willing to have the maturity where you tell your spirit, I don't need God to bless me in order for me to see the blessings that he's already given me? See, when Gideon has this human moment, but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? He reminds us all that there's going to be moments in our life when we're going to feel so abandoned by God. We're going to feel so ignored. We're going to feel like in the moments we needed him the most, he allowed the biggest challenges in our life. But here's what I want to propose to you today. Maybe God allowed the challenge into your life not so that your life could be easier, but so that you could be stronger. See, maybe God allowed it because he's trying to shift something inside of you where you move from existing to finally living. So you have to step out of the cave of your fears, but then you also have to step out of the cave of your past, but you also have to step out of the cave of your fears. See, in verse 14, I love this moment where Gideon is being reminded that there's challenges, where Gideon's been reminded of what God did in the past, but he's desperate for what God is going to do in the future. And then it says, the Lord turned to him and said, go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hands. Am I not sending you? See, when you are in this place where you're interacting with God, when you're trying to align yourself with him, ask yourself, am I only asking God to give me new resources? Am I only asking God to give me new insight, new revelation? Or am I asking God for the stewardship to put into the world what he's already put inside of me? So when he says, go in the strength you have, I think it's God just reminding us, stop asking for more and be faithful with what I've already given you. Because if we're going to clap, let's clap, right? Either all or none. Because when we find ourselves in this place in our spiritual life where we're always asking God for more, we're like a 6-year-old at Disneyland. He's saying, do you know what I've already poured into you? Do you know the investment that I've already spoken into your life? And we're like, yeah, God, but I want more. And he's like, I thought I already gave you a lot. You're like, yeah, God, but I want more. And our soul becomes sick and greedy. And it's this bottomless pit where it's never enough. And it's not that God doesn't want to be generous, because if you will open up your life to God, I'm telling you, he will pour more blessings into your life than you could imagine. But the key to unlocking your future is a life that's filled with gratitude. Because then God can trust you with more. But the more isn't simply so that your life is better. See, he says, go in the strength you have, because there's a battle that's waiting for you that the resources will not be unleashed until you have the courage to step into the fight. See, what characteristics, what beauty, what life has God already poured inside of you that you've allowed to lay dormant because you're simply waiting for him to give you the next thing? But what the maturity that can happen in your spiritual life, where when all the doubts aren't erased and all the uncertainty isn't gone, because true faith is never measured in the certainty, it's measured in the uncertainty. Or you're like Gideon and you just are filled with fear. And God, where are you? God, why have you abandoned me? God, will you give me the next thing?